Hello. Here we are on lesson 14.4 in chapter 14 on measures of central tendency. We are working on real-world problems regarding mean, median, and mode. I'd like you to write down the lesson objective on your paper. The lesson objective is solve problems that are related to the concepts of mean, median, and mode, including the selection of the measure of central tendency to be used for problems. If you need to see that again, it's on page 264 in your textbook. So you should be copying this onto your notes where you see the title of the lesson and then your lesson objective. When you're finished copying that, turn and talk to your neighbor and remind each other what the definitions of mean, median, and mode are. Those are all three measures of central tendency. Okay, so just a quick refresher. Mean, another word for is average. And the formula for it is the sum of all the numbers, also known as the total, divided by the quantity of numbers. Sometimes you're given the mean and the quantity of numbers and asked to find a missing number. In that case, you should take the mean times the quantity to find the total and then subtract off the numbers that you know. And then you can find the missing one number. A median is the middle value of your data set. So the formula for that, when you have an odd set of numbers, it's just the middle value. And when you have an even set of numbers, you'll have to find the average of the two middle numbers. So you'd add those two numbers and divide by 2, not the whole number set of data. Okay, and then the mode is the number that occurs most often. Sometimes we call this the frequency. You can remember mode by all of the O's in the definition. Okay, there's no formula to find mode. It's just the one that has the most numbers. And then we have a fourth word that we often find when we're talking about statistics, and that is range. And that's the span of the numbers in the data set. So it's always going to be the greatest number minus the least number. And that will equal the range. Okay, so what we're going to learn in this lesson is deciding whether to use the mean, median, or mode when we are given a word problem. So you can look at this learn section and see that they're giving us the number of pairs of inline skates sold as well as the sizes. We can find how many pairs of inline skates were sold by adding all of these numbers in the chart together, and we get 60. And then find the mean size of the skates sold by taking that 60 and taking the chart here and taking that we had 12 pairs of size 6, so 12 times 6, and then adding it to 15 times 7, and adding it to 18 times 8, and adding it to 9 times 9, and adding it to 6 times 10. And that would be your total, which would be your formula part that would be on the top of your division line, and then dividing it by the total number of pairs sold, which would be your quantity. So you'll find that it's 462 divided by 60, and you'll get that the mean size of the shoes sold should be 7 7/10. You will find that sometimes the mean will not be one of the actual sizes of shoes, because it can end up in the middle somewhere between a couple of the sizes. Okay, and if you turn to the next page, so here we are at the top of the next page, and it asks, what is the modal size of the inline skates sold? Modal size just means what is the mode, okay? So you look back at the chart, and you see which one had the most number of skates sold. Okay, and the most number of skates were size 8, because 18 is the greatest number of all of these. And then you look at D, and it says, what is the median size of the inline skates sold? Okay, so if we had 60 pairs of inline skates sold, we need to divide the skates into 2 equal groups. There's 30 pairs in the upper half and 30 pairs in the lower half. So the 30th and the 31st pairs of skates are in the middle. Or you could simply, if it's easier for you, you could make a list of the numbers and you could start crossing them off. And then you could find the median just like you're used to. You could also come back to the chart and you could say, this is 12, and I'm going to take 6 and then take 6 away from this 9 to get 12 on the upper end here. And then so I'd have 3 remaining from the 9 after I took away the 6. And then I'm going to take those 3 away from here. So the 15 minus the 3 is 12. So I have 12 remaining here and 12 remaining here. So I would find out that my median should be 8. Okay, again, you could list out all of the numbers. That would be fine. And then cross out until you can find the median. And then it says, which measure of central tendency describes the data set the best? Justify your answer. That means you have to explain the how and the why. So the mean is 7 7/10. However, the usual sizes for inline skates are either whole numbers or halves. So the mean might not be a realistic number. The mode and the median are both size 8, and that's a realistic number because the skates come in that size. So the mode and the median may describe the data set the best.